folks, this is Jerry B from Pride and Glory Travel. Hey, we got our Wild Hogs and Bikers cruise going out November 29th, where we're stopping at Nassau, Cook, Bahamas, Coco Cay, and Falmouth, Jamaica. This is going to be one cruise to remember. Why? Because it's our Wild Hogs and Bikers cruise, where we have our own leather and lace karaoke contest. You guys come on. You don't have to be a biker to go. You don't need to wear leather and lace to be a part of the crew. Just come have some fun with us this holiday season. Also, we have a great duo show going on called the Dooley Brothers Entertainment. That's me and my brother from Tomorrow's People. We're going to be rocking the house for you at a private concert just for you guys. We got a miniature golf tournament going on. So, folks, come join the fun. We got prices starting at $747 per person. That is just $747 per person for a 7-day beautiful cruise. Pick up the phone, get the rules booked. Call 920-265-8143. That's Jerry B. That's me, 920-265-8143. And come, we'll see you at sea, y'all. Hey, folks, welcome to another episode of Respect to Talk here on a Tuesday night at 5 p.m. My nephew, guess what? He got called in somewhere, so he won't be able to make it today, but he said he's going to try to drop in from wherever he's at, so we're going to hope he can, because I would love to have him involved in our conversation today. But hey, guess what? If you guys want to be involved in our conversation, please feel free, drop in, drop a note, jump. My producer's watching. I'm sure you can find the link on my Facebook page. So jump in, hit that link, and come on in and join in with the conversation with me. Because we got some great topics today. And I pray and hope you guys had a great 4th. But anyway, you already know what time it is, y'all. Welcome back to Respect to Talk. If you're tapping in right now, do us a favor. Like, subscribe, share it with somebody who actually likes real conversations. Not the watered down version. We're not trying to do that. Not the watered down version. We're here every Tuesday at 5 p.m. and we don't really tiptoe around topics. We talk about them. Culture, politics, life, all of it. We get into it. And if something we say hits you cool and it makes you think a little bit different, even better. Just stay locked in with us, because this is where the real conversation is live. Now, here's what we're going to do, because of my nephew's not here with us. Hopefully he jump in. And I'm going to take a look at, because he would talk to me and talk to you guys about what we got going on today, because we got a mix of topics, some celebrity culture, some politics, some media talk, and a few moments where you're probably going to sit back like, wait, did that really just happen? We're talking about the whole Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's wedding conversation, private or not so private. Then we're shifting into what's been happening in D.C. We're digging into this America 250 conversation, what we're celebrating, what we're leaving out, media bias, fake Fox News versus the rest of the networks. Then there's this wild idea floating around all about political messaging and imagery. And we've even touched on that Empire State Building situation, because that one got people debating federal versus state authority real quick. So yeah, let's get into it, you guys. Check it out.
Welcome to Respect the Talk with Jerry B.
Respect the talk. Respect the talk. Respect the talk.
All right, there. Respect to Talk, folks. We're back again. Hey, like I said, we got some great topics for you today here. Like I said, my nephew might jump in here. Hopefully he does. And if he does, my producer's looking out for that. And he would bring him in, and I would see him come in, and then we'll bring him into a little bit of conversation that he can get back to what he's doing. But hey, let's talk about this Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's private wedding. Okay. Now, I'm not knocking this wedding. Okay. Don't get me wrong here. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's wedding. Everybody keeps saying they wanted a private wedding. Really? Come on now. Come on. Think about this, folks. If you truly wanted your privacy, there are plenty of ways to make that happen. We've seen celebrities disappear, get married overseas, invite a handful of people, and nobody finds out until weeks later. It happens all the time. You guys know this. It happens all the time, doesn't it? You could have gone to Italy, You could have gotten married at one of those huge homes you already own. Look at Taylor Swift's home. She has this huge mansion out on the water. Just, I mean, this thing is gorgeous. Can you imagine the backdrop that would have looked like for her wedding to be there? Just look at Taylor's property. It was, I mean, it was amazing. That would have been private. Now, that truly would have been private if you truly wanted it private. But if you're talking about Madison Square Garden, now we're talking about one of the most recognizable venues in the world. You're talking about massive security, police presence, people trying to catch a glimpse, everything that comes with a huge public event. So I have to ask, did they really want privacy? Personally, I don't think so. I think what they wanted to control the story more than they wanted to keep it a secret. And those are two completely different things. Just because you say it's private doesn't make it automatically make it private. Not in my opinion. Now, here's something. They had they said they had 1,000 people at their wedding. 1,000 people. That's one and three zeros. 1,000 people at their wedding. Madison Square Garden seats, I don't know how many thousands of people because it's such a huge arena. So, I mean, like, where did you host this event at inside the arena that is so big? I mean, it's just, yeah, 1,000 people is a large wedding, but it didn't fill Madison Square Garden. I don't think it was a speck in Madison Square Garden. You know, I mean, are you serious? 1,000 people? That's like a hockey stadium or something like that. I mean, really, I mean, I just don't get it. You know, to me, I just don't see it. And I guess because they said, okay, there's no pictures of them in their outfits, there's no pictures of the celebrities, there's no pictures of none of this stuff going out. So you don't see anything. You don't see the bouquet toss. You don't see anything. You know, I mean, that still does not make it private. Just because if you wanted it private, you have it somewhere where nobody know where the hell you are. Period. Full stop. Period. Not, I'm like I said, I'm not knocking Kelsey and Taylor Swift. I'm really not because I'm happy for them. I really am. I'm very sad and happy for them, and I hope they have a very long, successful marriage. They look like they're very happy, and they've been together for a minute. You know, and I say a minute because it's been a minute, not a long minute, but they've been together a minute. And they both got their own money, so it's not like they need each other's money. But I tell you, it's just crazy. If I had a house like I don't even know what Travis's house looks like, but if I had a home like Britney Spears' home, I would have had my wedding there because I mean it is truly an astounding home. It's right on the ocean. I mean, it is just amazing, So anyway, that's where I would have did my wedding at. It was just I would say, hey, let's just do it at my house because we got the backdrop, we got the whole parking lot, the yard, the house. I mean, I don't know how many bedrooms they got in that darn thing. It's just a huge mansion. But then again, who knows? She might have her whole family living there too. So who knows? Anyway, we're gonna move on. I'm not gonna keep you guys on this topic about the Kelsey and the uh, Britney Spears, or not Britney Spears, but Taylor Swift. I'm sorry. I'm losing it because I'm trying to wonder if Taylor's going to be Taylor Kelsey. Hey, you gotta laugh at that. Now think about that. Is she going to take his name? I guarantee you not, because she's famous for Taylor Swift, not Taylor Kelsey. So and Travis Kelsey is probably going to not beat Travis Swift. I don't think that's going to go on. She might wind up being Taylor Kelsey. Wait a minute. How do you do that? Taylor Kelsey Swift or Taylor Swift Kelsey or something. I don't know. Who knows what it's going to be, but we'll know as that goes on if she's even going to take his name. I know a lot of stars don't do that. They don't take each other's names mainly because they're famous in their own name, so they need to keep their name. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not hating on them. Like I said, I'm very very happy for them. It's just like I said. My thing is if you really 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 want to keep this wedding secretive or private, should I say, not secret but private. you would have did it at your house, and not. I know you had all these curtains in New York and all that stuff, blocking all the stars who was coming, so you couldn't see, and you couldn't have the what they call the people with the cameras out there taking pictures of them as they go in there, paparazzis, So I mean, if that's what you're talking about, private. I mean, I guess then you got the privacy you wanted because now there was no paparazzi taking pictures of the stars or your wedding or anything. So that's cool. That's what you wanted. That's what you got. Hey, your money. Do what you want to do. One thing for sure, I'm happy for you both. Congratulations. Now, let's talk about something that really got to me because I don't know if a lot of you folks notice, but people keep talking about Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and here, if any of these folks marched on Washington, people would be blowing it's not people. Let me straighten that out. It wouldn't be people. It'd be the Republican Party be blowing a gasket right now. They would be blowing a gasket because this is supposed to be America 250 party, and it's supposed to be about America, all of us, not just one nationality. Which Black Lives Matter isn't about one nationality; it's about Black Lives Matter. It's just a matter, Antifa's to stop government for taking over our world, our lives, which they tend to try to do. But here's what happened, and here's what irritates me, because here's what irritates me about the Democratic Party, and I said it before. They spend way too much time letting Trump and the Republican Party define who Democrats are. When I think Democrats have plenty of opportunities to define who Republicans are. Here's what I mean. Okay. Look at what just happened in Washington. That's why I just brought this up, folks. The white nationalists showed up, and you know what white nationalists is. That's basically the KKK. They just don't have hoodies and stuff anymore. But the white nationalists showed up in large numbers during the Trump America 250 events. Now, before anybody starts typing in comments, let me be clear. They have a constitutional right to march. I'm not arguing against that. But they could have marched anywhere. It didn't have to be in Washington. There was celebrations going all over the country. But they choose to march in Washington at Trump's America 250 rally. Okay? And what am I asking is this: where was the condemnation? Where was the condemnation? Did Trump come out and clearly say, I don't want your support? Did Republicans, leaders, stand up and say, we don't want to be associated with that message? I didn't hear much of that conversation at all. Instead, we keep hearing Democrats being called communists, socialists, and other names in the book. See, now this is where Democrats miss the opportunity. If someone was marching under a banner of racism and white nationalism, why are Republicans being forced to answer questions about it? Why isn't that part of the national conversation? Right now, Democrats are so focused on this Bram Gratner, whatever his name is, over in Maine, that that they're losing sight on this here. And here's another thing: imagine for 1 second if this had been a massive BLM march, like I just talked to you guys about. You honestly think Republicans wouldn't be talking about it 24 hours a day? You know they would. That's not inconsistency. I mean, seriously, that's not inconsistency I have a problem with. Nobody has to stop anyone from exercising their constitutional rights. But political leaders should be willing to clearly reject extremist ideologies where they show up and in my opinion, silence leaves room for people to draw their own conclusion. And that's not good for anybody. So I ask you guys, wake up, America. We should be able to condemn racism no matter who it's coming from. Seriously, guys, this is crazy. And I don't know if you guys seen the pictures of all these people on the L train, the white nationalists on the L train, and these that lone black lady sitting out there just in fear. And then there was another gentleman on there also that was just almost totally in fear for his life, because you had all these guys in masks, mind you, masks. It's like, look, if you guys weren't shaming yourself, take the damn mask off. That's the same thing we say about these ICE agencies. If you're not worried about you doing the right thing, take the mask off. Yeah, this is not the Lone Ranger shit. You guys got to cut the nonsense. This ain't the Lone Ranger out here where you can wear a mask to fight evil and crime. You guys are evil, and you can't walking around with masks on your face to cover up who you are so people can't find you. So people can't find you and harass you and terrorize you like you did that young lady on that L train or that young man on that L train. And that's why you're covering up your face. And to me, I call that cowardice. To me, I just call that cowardness. Totally cowardness. Because that is it's just a sad, sad case. And not any Republicans are out there talking about it. I seen a couple of Republicans. Here's gets my goat. I gotta take a sip of juice here, folks. And yes, it is juice. Here's what gets my goat. The minute you bring up something like this and you ask the Republicans, why aren't you talking about this? The first thing Republicans do, not all, I'm not saying all. I will say all in Washington, but not all Republicans out here in the streets here, the normal Republicans. The first thing they do is they say, well, what about them over there? They start pointing fingers. What about Black Lives Matter? What about Antifa? That's not what I'm asking you about, dude. We're talking about these white nationalists marching on Washington, and you can't even talk about that. The only thing you can do is point to something over here. That's not an answer. That's not an answer. And that's where the Democrats fail at because the Republicans are giving the Democrats, thank God I'm an independent. The Republicans are giving the Democrats so much to talk about. And the Democrats have no backbone. They have no balls. They have no mentality to pick up on any of this and run with it. I mean, seriously, they have none. And I wonder, okay, what do you guys do? So what do? They go over there and they fight against Graham Plattner or whatever his name is over in their Maine. Somebody in your own damn party. I mean, wait a minute. Now here, this Graham Plattner guy, he said I didn't do it. And Marjorie Taylor Greene was on TV saying the same thing the other day. Well, not the same thing I'm saying, but she was on TV today saying, well, the girl should have came up a long time ago if it's true. You don't wait till you run for political office, then you come and start talking about he raped you. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he didn't do it or he did do it. We don't know. And the Democratic Party doesn't know. All they know is this girl come out of something from 5 years ago or maybe longer saying that he raped her. And they had a previous relationship before this. It ain't like he came out of the blue and just raped her. They were having a relationship. So they were in a relationship. And yes, you can still be raped even though you're in a relationship or even married. You can rape your wife. If your wife says no, that means no. But the problem I have with it is you wait 5 years to bring it up after he's running for something, which means you want something out of this, like you're trying to hurt him. Because if you wasn't trying to hurt him, you would have did it way back when. You would have screamed to the top of your lungs the first time he did it and called the police and say he raped me. And that's where I have an issue at. And then people would say, well, women have a problem with coming forward with rape. Well, then why is she doing it now then? Why? Because he's got the spotlight? The spotlight's on him, so now you can do it? To me, that's no excuse. Because you should always tell somebody, ladies, if you get raped, please, please, please speak up at that moment. Do not wait till 10 years down the road or 4 years down the road. Speak up at that moment. Get it on record. Get it on paper so people know it happened. Not because they're running for something. It happened. But the minute you wait until people run for something and then all of a sudden you come out of woodshed, it leads people to wonder, are you serious or did it really happen or not? Because now you're getting ready to try to ruin this young man's life on something that nobody really knows the truth because it's a he say, she say. Because you never reported it. The Republicans aren't ruining nobody's life because they report. Look at the guy in Texas. that's running, and he's a Republican. The Republicans don't give a shit how bad he is. Hell, his only Republican Party threw him out of office. His wife divorced him because he was doing some manhandling stuff on women. But the Republican Party don't care. They still running with this guy. They love this guy. They think this guy is the next whatever the heck it is over in Texas. So they don't care. But then all these other people out here want Democrats to care. So they want Democrats to say, we're going to decide, because Democrats got to run and take this higher ground, that we're going to ruin this guy's life just because this woman said, I'm not saying it flippantly, but just because this woman came forward 5-6 years later and said something, we're going to ruin his life because we think he did it. Well, you don't know that for a fact. Nobody knows that for a fact. Who did she talk to before today, before this weekend? Who did she talk to before Jake Tapper? Nobody. She didn't tell a friend. She didn't tell the police. She didn't tell her parents. She didn't tell anybody. So all of a sudden now it become her word against his word. And now because he's running for public office, she could just be a young lady who's just pissed off. She could just be pissed off. She could be getting paid by somebody in the Republican Party to get, she could, because they hide it. I'm not saying, I can throw all kind of scenarios out there, all because she waited to now to come forward with this story after he is running for office and got a chance of being then the next senator. And that's where I have my issue at, folks. Not that I like this guy. Don't get me wrong. This guy seems like a moron. I mean, he really does. He's running around with a Nazi tattoo on him, So I'm wondering, is he one of these closet racists too? So I'm not a Graham Plattner fan. I mean, he's done some crazy crap out there, But just like I wasn't a Charlie Kirk fan because Charlie Kirk said some crazy crap out there. So I mean, this guy said some crazy crap also and done some crazy crap. The difference here is I don't know if this is what they're trying to say this guy did, if he actually did it. Or is it hyperbole? Or if people just, if they making a mountain out of a molehill. Nobody knows the truth. All they know is this girl's coming out here on Jake Tapper, and I'm upset with Jake Tapper for even putting her out there and giving her a voice on TV. You people out there want to bitch about CNN, talking about CNN is biased. CNN is anything but biased. I mean, if they were that biased, they would never put this woman up against this guy because this guy's a Democrat. You'll never see Fox News doing no shit like that. Excuse my French, But you'll never see Fox News going after one of their own. CNN is, if they were so biased, if they were all liberal, they would not be going after this guy. I mean, they be going after other people. The CNN goes after all kinds of people. I've watched CNN. We're gonna talk about this topic too, because I've watched CNN before, and I've watched them and seen how they go after Democrats and Republicans, both. But then I flip the channel and I go over and I watch Fox News. And Fox News do not talk about any Republicans. And you cannot tell me every Republican out there is golden. You cannot tell me that. All they do with Fox News is talk about is Democrats. That's it. Democrats, 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 Democrats. They don't even talk about independents. Thank God. So I'm safe. I'm safe. But I mean, I am just irritated that he would give this lady a podium like that. Because I don't think he knows if it's true or not yet. It's, again, like I said, it's her word against his word. There is literally no proof. So why would you flaunt her all over the TV right now to ruin this man's reputation or his chances of running without knowing for a fact he actually raped her just because, ooh, she said he raped me. 5-6 years ago. So I mean, I'm sorry. It just Jake Tapper, you screwed up, bro. You screwed up. You need to do your job first. Instead of sitting up there flaunting her all over the TV screen, and CNN doing the same thing. The rest of you busters over there at CNN doing the same damn thing out there, flaunting this girl all over TV, ruining this man's career. Like I said, not knowing if this actually happened or if this is just an upset woman because Graham Plattner wind up marrying another woman, and him and this other woman are together. So I mean, I don't get it. Is there somebody in the waiting room talking to my producer? It looked like I'm looking at a piece of something. I don't know who that is, but James, yeah. So those are that's a problem I do have, folks. I'm sorry. So I'm not hating on nobody. I'm not trying to hate on nobody. I deeply apologize. Um, look like my nephew got a chance to come in here. Look at him. What's up, nephew?
Hey, what's going on? I just
Hey,
wanted to stop in and say hello to everybody.
yes, sitting over there at work. Oh, Costco called you in.
Yeah.
Tell those buses they can't be doing that crap, man. We got work to do. We're like the average white man. I got work to do. I got a gig, baby. Glad to see you in the house, man. We just got off. I'm on this topic. Did you read the topics for today? That I'm on this
I did
topic
not.
about the rape of this lady that's claiming Graham Plattner done raped her and stuff. So it's just anyway. I don't know if you've seen that out there. But the gentleman in Maine, and Maine. Here's the thing: Maine picked him, and everybody's trying to run this guy out of town, and they all keep coming up with all kind of crap. But yet here we got a president who is actually
Convicted.
charged with rape and sexual assault
Convicted.
and convicted. And the Democrats are sitting up there trying to run their own people out of town because of somebody said, just because somebody said he raped her. There's no proof. She just said it.
Oh wow! But it's the Democrats who's doing it.
It's the Democrats trying to run their own Democrat out of Maine. Because this girl comes forward after 5 years and said, well, he raped me 5 years ago. No proof, no nothing. Just he raped me. Did she? Because she didn't file nothing way back when. She never even mentioned it to anybody. And Jake Tapper over at CNN got it all on TV. CNN running with it. Oh my God, this guy raped this girl, supposedly. So now they're trying to get the Democrats to kick him out of office. And you got that idiot from Pennsylvania, Fetterman. Oh my God. I don't know
But
what.
see, that highlights the difference between the two parties.
Right.
That highlights the difference. Err on the side of caution is a Democrat and liberals policy. Err on the side of caution. We don't necessarily want somebody who could make that poor of a judgment call.
Yeah.
Versus MAGA, who ran around here talking about, I voted for, or I'm proud to have voted for the felon.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Big difference.
Huge difference. Huge difference.
And and that's why I get so upset with the Democratic Party, because it's like, guys, why are you doing this to yourself? Maine, he can beat Susan Collins. Maine picked him, and he can literally beat Susan Collins. He's way up. And now the Democrats are calling for Bernie Sanders to go apologize. Fetterman is asking for Bernie Sanders to go apologize. All these guys that endorse him are dropping their endorsements now of the guy, all because no proof, but because she said, I can recall pushing his hand away. That's what she said. Oh, I can recall telling him this. I can recall pushing his arm away.
But we covered this story a few weeks ago.
No, this just happened.
This is a new
This is a new one. This is a new one. Just happened.
Well, see.
And they running wild with this crap.
As far as the party is concerned, like I said, Democrats and liberals tend to err on the side of caution. Huge difference there. But if if his people have no problem living with that because they feel that, whether it was a mistake that he made, or because if she says that she can recall pushing his hand away and that's all she can recall.
Well, she said, I can recall this. She has a few things she said she can recall. Recall. I mean, did he or did he not rape you? And who did you go talk to about this? Nobody. Not the next day, not 3 years later, not. And like I said, I'm not saying it didn't happen. That's why I'm trying to get people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say it did not happen. What I don't like is when you wait till somebody is running for something to get your name out there in the public eye where people can start seeing your face. So now you got your 5 seconds of fame by trying to ruin this guy's life with no proof. So now it's a he say, she say game.
And not victim shaming.
No.
Not victim shaming.
No.
And the whole psyche of a rape victim is that the embarrassment, the guilt, they take on their own guilt for the situation. They internalize it. So I'm not complaining about the waiting. It because in a situation like that, if somebody truly vetted him, whether it was his own party or opposition parties, if they vetted him and they went to this girl after hearing rumors about him, if they vetted him and went back and was like, or went to her and said, hey, you know what? We're here to support you, blah, blah, blah. You need to get this out here so that once he gets into office, gets into power, it doesn't escalate. He doesn't become a monster with unchecked powers.
Like somebody else we know.
That. Right. You can stop that. So I can see why someone would wait. I'm visualizing that right now. I can see why somebody would wait. So victim shaming is off the table. It doesn't matter how long she waited, because if it happened, it happened. If she finally felt comfortable, or if somebody made her feel comfortable enough to finally tell the story, that's one thing. However, my stance is still, like we said with the previous situation, if the people are knowing this, are willing to support him, and this is in Maine. I don't live in Maine.
Right.
I have no
right.
I have no skin in the game.
Right.
I have no horse in the race, however you want to put it.
Right.
So other Democrats don't have the right to try and push them out. Now, if they want to withdraw their support because their own constituents would have an issue with them supporting somebody who did that, I can see them withdrawing their support for that reason.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, they withdraw money. I mean, Chuck Schumer and them all saying they're not going to even get behind him and support him in money and everything. The Democratic Party is backing out of supporting them, no matter whether Maine wants them or not, and that's where I have my issue at, because your job is to beat Susan Collins. And if Maine wants that person to beat Susan Collins, then, they got worse people in the office right now. Like I said, they got a guy. Look at the guy in Texas. This guy's got a horrible record, and nobody's even talking about him. And he's a Republican. Nobody's talking about this guy. He's running against that Tara Mucci or Tara somebody over there in Texas who's a Democrat. But this guy got kicked out of his own party in Texas from stealing. He got divorced from his wife because he having millions of affairs, and he's running in Texas for a senator's job, and nobody's talking about this guy, talking about a bad track record, but they focusing on this guy. And this is where I have my problem at. It's double, it's two, it's like, come on, Democrats. You guys cannot let the Republican Party do this to you. You're
Right.
gonna lose seats over nonsense. Over this, I'm not saying it's nonsense, but you're gonna lose a seat all because of what this. And the Republican Party is gonna gain seats, and they don't care, and they putting that guy over there. I mean, it's sad, man.
Yeah. I see what you're getting at now. From a strategic point, that's a poor choice to pull your support from somebody who could win. In a seat and in a race where it's a almost need to win situation.
That's the only way
Okay.
they can take the Senate back. And they know they can. They can take the Senate back with this guy winning, and Maine wants him. The people in Maine wants him. Women, men, they got women out there for Plattner. They got all kind of people. They don't care. So who are we to come in from Florida and care? You're letting the Republican Party push you from another state over into Maine to care about this. When the people in Texas don't care about this guy, and they're gonna let him run through here. Just
yeah. I mean, the hypocrisy that's there is unreal, and I see your point.
The Texans aren't removing this guy. Because they want to beat that Terramucci or whatever his name is over in Texas. They don't want him to win. He's a Democrat. So they sticking behind this guy no matter how come hell or high water. And this guy's got a horrible, horrible track record. Just as, if not worse than Graham Plattner's. But they're not talking about him. They just don't care. It's all about this guy. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna get away from this. How much time you got?
I probably got about a good 5 minutes or so.
Because I know you wanted to talk about this last week, and I said we can talk about it this week. So let me run through this America 250 right quick. I'm not going to even take a break because I'm hearing so many people, huh? Yeah, I want you to get in it because I'm hearing so many people celebrating America 250's birthday. I was watching Chris Como the other night, and every guest that came on this show got a happy birthday, America. Now, don't get me wrong. I have no problem celebrating America. I'm proud to be an American. What bothered me was hearing over and over again how far this country has come in 250 years and how everybody should be excited. Oh my God, because no other country has accomplished what America has accomplished. Well, let me be honest, folks out there. It was built by Black Americans, Brown Americans, Native Americans, Chinese immigrants, Italian Americans, and Mexican Americans. People from all over the world sacrificed, struggled, and helped build this country into what it is today. So when we celebrate American success, let's tell the whole story, not just the parts that make us feel good. Oh, we got 250 years. Look how far we came. That's not being anti-American. That's being honest. We can celebrate America turning 250 while also acknowledging the parts of our history were painful, unjust, and left scars that still exist today. These two things can be true at the same time. I'm proud to be an American, but I don't think we should pretend every chapter in America's first 250 years deserves applause. Celebrate the birthday. Just don't erase the history that came with it. Come on, I know you want to talk about this last week. Jump in here, James.
Absolutely. I can still remember when I was 7, 8 years old, and it was 1776 or 1976. I can still remember all the hoopla that surrounded that and how great of how we all celebrated that birthday nationally. Even minted a special bicentennial
coin.
quarter for that. And that was a huge deal. My history aside, I think that where I had the problem with this, what is it, semi-quincentennial celebration, is that because of the administration that we have in office, it's not a celebration of the country, how far we've come, or any of that. Because how far we come, you would have to include from a moral standpoint saying, okay, we had a great idea and we have pushed to make that idea a reality. Um, and I would be fine with that. I agree with you. I hate the fact that we have people who are trying to whitewash it and make it only the highlights because you learn from your mistakes. That's human nature. We should be learning from our mistakes.
Right. Yeah, absolutely,
But
for sure.
I hate that this 250-year celebration he tried to turn this into not only a birthday party for himself, but a hey, look at me, I'm all important type
Right, right.
event.
Yeah. Well,
He
yeah,
he tried,
yeah, go ahead.
he tried to um, even this fair. He made it all about himself,
Yeah,
and that's where I had my problem
yeah,
because he took and again this was another one of those situations where it was Obama's idea, it was Obama's name on it. He wanted to scrap it because it came from him.
yeah.
It was a bipartisan um, agreement that we make this celebration a national celebration, much like uh, the bicentennial celebration was. Um, but he came in again. This was Obama's idea. Obama had written it up. There was supposed to be some focus on, like you said, the some of the minority groups that help build this country and how they feel about this country now. That was all part of the initial layout that Obama set up. He came in and scrapped it and then waged his war on DEI.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's what, my problem is, well, my issues with Obama. We talked about that a while back ago because, like I said, I got my issues with, but here's my issue with this president here, and I've always said that it's nothing to do with anything but this man. And people hate it when I say he's a racist because they try to say he's not a racist. The guy is a racist. I mean, he's going, and here's what bothers me because I can feel our country going backwards under him. And I remember Bloody Sunday. Bloody Sunday. A lot of you folks out there might not be old enough to remember that. I was here. I was born. I was 9 years old when that happened. Yeah, and I'm telling my age. I was 9 years old when that happened. And that blurb came across the TV screen and just really shocked the whole world what was going on. Shocked the whole world. I mean, we cried. I cried. Everybody cried watching this stuff happen. It was just a sad moment in our history. And people want to say, well, that's so long ago. No, that wasn't so long ago. Not to me, because I remember it. I can. If it was so long ago, that'd have been in 1920 something I don't remember. I was here. And I was 9 years old when that day happened. This country was still had some ugly, ugly, ugly things rearing its head under. And when you talk about celebrating America 250, I don't mind. I want to celebrate it, but the way Chris Como was doing, happy birthday, America. Happy birthday to you, and happy birthday to you. And he's telling all these white guys that came on his show, happy birthday to you. So what are you talking about? Happy birthday to what? White America? Because I mean, when was it happy for us? I mean, when did it start getting happy for us? And those are the things I remember in 1985 going up to Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I got treated like shit because I was not a Packer player. And they felt that if you're not a Packer player, your ass need to get the hell out of Green Bay. That's how racist it still was, even in 1985 in some small towns. And I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry to bring the town up. It's different now. Green Bay's black. Hey, don't get me wrong, folks. I raised some beautiful kids in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I love that town. I'm not upset with it because it's that shit happened. There is a beautiful town. My lovely wife is from there, and I met her and her family, and I love her dearly. I got some great friends, phenomenal friends from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm just saying, when I moved there in 1985, it still was very, very racist. It really, really was. And this is 1985. So don't want nobody running up to me talking about, oh, that was a long time ago. No, it wasn't a long time ago. This country still has some ugly, ugly things about it. When I moved here 11 years ago, me and Tori, I was walking down the street, going across the street 11 years ago here in Florida. You know, I was walking down the street going to CVS, and a guy drove past in a truck and called me the N word. And I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, really? You can drive past and that's what you say. So no, it's not so long ago, folks out here in Respect to Talk land. It's not so long ago. It's still
Right.
happening
And
even right now today. I was doing a show 7 years ago at a place. I'm not going to mention the name of this place, but 7 years ago, and everybody in the club loved me. I mean, it was one of these places anyway. And I went, me, I'm a personal bot guy, and I go around and shake everybody's hand. And the guy said, he's not going to shake your hand. He's one of those. These are all white people in here now. And I'm like, what do you mean one of those? Yeah, well, he's racist. You don't like black people. And I'm like, are you serious? He said, yeah, he's just seriously, dude. He's not going to shake your hand. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's how, and this is 7 years ago. seven
yeah,
years
yeah,
ago. So don't say I haven't dealt with it. I still deal with it even right now today.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And to that end, we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But we have, and this is what I don't get. When people want to whitewash history and talk about just the good parts, well, to me, that could be seen as a positive, that we've come from the point where there are certain parts of Chicago where you couldn't walk down the street, period. And in fact, the Chicago police, if they wanted to give you a hard time, would pick you up and take you and drop you off in the middle of one of those areas.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've come far enough where that doesn't happen, or it's not a commonplace, or it's not common enough place where everybody knows about it.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, we still have sundown towns in America. And for those who don't know what a sundown town is, a sundown town is, they could be as pleasant as they want to be while the sun is up.
Yeah. When
When
the
that
sun
sun
goes down.
you better not let your little black butt get caught.
Yep. Yep.
So yes, there are still some sundown towns out there. We know that, but they are a little bit more covert than they used to be.
Well, they weren't covert when they was marching on Washington on this 250th anniversary. And they had all that one black lady and that Indian guy sitting on the train, all like scared to shit because all these white nationalists are marching through here. They weren't covert then.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
we can't say we've came a long way when this is still happening right now in these US of A's people talking about to celebrate 250 years of this nonsense happening in our country.
Yeah.
And then they say, here's what gets me. They say, this is their right, but yet they kick Stephen Colbert, or what's his name, off the air because he can't say what he wanted to say, but these people got the right to do it and say what they want to say. So which is it? I mean, think about that.
I just watched a meme just yesterday, and I got to get back to work.
Yeah.
But I just watched a meme yesterday, and it was, I don't know if it was meant to be funny or was a real thing, but it was an African politician who said he is against corruption. Corruption is bad. unless the corruption benefits him, then he's all for the corruption.
What?
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know if it was meant to be a joke, if it was meant to be funny, if it was, a clip from a real African politician that was saying this.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, politicians are all crooks anyway. I don't care which party they're on.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm serious.
So I don't know if that was like I said, but when I saw it, I laughed and I said, "Wow, that's eh, that could be our president saying that
Yeah.
he's he if he ever slips up and says the quiet part out loud, that could come from out of his mouth."
I think all of them says that though. You talk, you talk about Trump, and people say, "Well, look at what Nancy Pelosi did." It's always pointing the finger somewhere else. And I sit there and I tell everybody, all of them are crooks, you guys. There's not one honest politician in Washington. Not one. And if you do find one, please tell me where he is or she is. Because I don't like any of them. I don't care what party you're on, what side of the aisle you're on. The whole system is corrupt. But I
Right.
know you got to
It's a
get to
matter
work,
of
bro.
aligning yourself with the ones who are going to do the most good for you.
Yeah. And it's,
Um, Yeah, but like I said, my big thing was I wanted to talk about the flop and failure of this great American so this great American flop that he threw, um, where by all accounts the 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 biggest draw was the huge screen that had the World Cup playing on it,
right.
and then the audacity of him saying, "Hey, if you're here to listen to me speak, I know you want to hear me speak. Stand out there in the sweltering heat. I don't care if you got to have a heat stroke or what. Wait for me." Those are the things that were funny to me. And, I watched all throughout the week of the videos of attendance. And, there were more people that were there working and there to report on the flops of this whole fair than there were people that were there to just enjoy it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was weird, man, and then he interjected himself into the soccer game, and look what happened there, just like he did with the Knicks game. They lose, and then he goes over to, but he's a winner. Goes over the Knicks game, they lose. He interjected himself in a soccer game. He's a winner, but they lose. It's like, oh my God. Then he shouldn't have. I don't know, man. I mean, it's just like I said. I don't want to, keep browbeating on this guy, because he's just. My main thing today was, I want to browbeat these damn Democrats who are worthless to me, because they irritate me because you don't hear nothing. I hate what they're doing. I'm sorry. I hate what they're doing. Or should I say not doing?
right, right.
Not doing. Because they got all the bullets to fight with and they're not using them.
Agreed. Agreed. And I think that's a failing that the Democratic Party has in that always trying to take the high road
Yeah.
is it's one of those situations where you're always taught to not bring a knife to a gunfight. Well, here it is. They're fighting old world American boxing compared to somebody who's sitting there with aircraft carrier shooting anti-ballistic missiles at them.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's terrible that the American Democrats are so big on trying to do the right thing and take the high road that they don't even allow themselves to fight fair.
Well, the problem is they don't know what the right thing is either, because they're a bunch of crooks too. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but they are. They just, just in it to get paid. It seems like to me they want their paycheck. They want to. All of them sitting there want to get get their stocks up and stuff. And it's like, dude, what are you doing for us? You should see the people here in Florida. Man, I know you got to go, but you should see these people down here in Florida. They still hampering on Biden down here in Florida. I'm running because Biden let all these illegal immigrants in, so we need to kick Biden out of the country. But let's start with these illegal immigrants. And I'm looking at this girl down here. There's not a Democrat running down here, nowhere in Florida, nowhere. But so it's like, who are you talking to? Who are you trying to convince or sell this crap to? Are you running against another Republican? Because this is all what's on TV.
No, what they're doing is they're baiting their base. They're trying to rage bait their base.
I
That's
know.
about, you know. But when it comes down to it, because and it's not just there in Florida because, and I didn't unsubscribe because I wanted to see it, but I get daily text messages from some Republican talk group that tells me stuff like Dems are close to passing SB whatever, and that guarantees illegals take your pension. Illegals can take your pension. And I'm like, are they really falling for this?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of them, some of them are. That don't forget QAnon, and you don't forget that. They
Yeah,
believe that all that QAnon crap, out there, So hell, yeah, a lot of people really believed they were eating your dogs and cats. They really believed that.
sure.
So, you can sell these people anything. It's just, my God, how can you be so mindless that you believe this crap?
If it feeds their own prejudices and biases, it's easy to do.
Yeah, just because
And
somebody else tells you that's happening, you're going to believe it without doing your due diligence and research to see if it's true or not.
and
Like,
and that's
huh?
why I told you. That's why I said a long time ago. It's all about being part of a club. For whatever reason, human nature, you want to be part of a group. And for a lot of people, it's they have they have sunken so far into politics that it's part of their identity. And now they can't backtrack because now it's personal.
Yeah. Yeah. I had somebody tell me I seen somebody write the other day talking about, oh my God, how bad they talk about Trump and treat Trump and blah, 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 and do this. And I'm thinking to myself, why are you his protector? It's like, what? So they people could talk about Obama like a dog. I'm not gonna get out here and defend him. He can defend his own damn self. I mean, I would say I have nothing against him, but I'm not gonna be out here ready to go into fights over nobody over because you called Obama something. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, yeah. And that's where our identity politics has gotten. Because like I said, people are so entrenched on taking sides in both sides,
Yeah,
Republicans and MAGA more so, but both sides have learned to cultivate that that sense of wanting to be part of a side.
yeah, yeah. They got to be right. It's got
You
to
know,
be a part of one side or the other. They don't want to be. They don't want to be like me straddling the fence, calling out either both sides. They want to be. Oh, I'm gonna be on the right side, or I'm gonna be on the far left side, and and that's where compromise goes out the window, and that's sad because no one wants to talk to each other. Fetterman wants to sit there and try to pretend that he's compromising, working with both sides, but I think he's got to stick up his ass that he needs to fix himself or something because He's got some issues more than what he went through with a stroke or whatever the hell, but he's got some problems. But anyway, hey, dude, I know you got to get back to work.
Yeah. I
I'm a,
keep looking,
I'm
waiting for somebody to tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you need to kind of need you back there."
you fired, or either you fired.
Right.
Yeah, you fired. You fired. But no, dude, it's just hey, I'm gonna say these next two conversations for next week, and we can have that, and that way Brandon don't have a whole lot to read, even though our producer keeps writing these things up for us to talk about that I put out on Facebook, folks. So you guys, hey, all you folks out there in Respect to Talk land, you want to follow us on Respect to Talk. Anything you're going to hear and I show you know because I'm going to be talking about it on our Respect to Talk Facebook page. Please join in on that page, comment on that page, get involved with conversations with me, James, anybody. Let's just have talk because this is where we have real conversations. We don't mind. We're not hating nobody. We're not calling nobody out of their name. We love to hear your side. We love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about this? Because I'm not correct all the time. I'm not correct. I'm just correct.
Yeah,
But no.
kind of like the old
Huh?
saying. Kind of like the old saying. I was wrong at least once in my life.
And at that time, I was still right.
Yeah, it was because I thought I was wrong when I was actually right
Actually,
about it.
right. Yeah. Hey, man, get your ass back to work. God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in with us at Respect to Talk. We'll check you guys next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all. Love y'all.
Welcome to Respect the Talk with Jerry B.